Welcome back everyone to Pontos Fathom Hobbies. This is Season 1 of Viking Gods minigame from TSR. We are on the second setup round. We're going to do a walkthrough of the rules. We've got the tokens on the board and we're going to jump right into it. Before we do, quick shout out to this channel sponsor, Pontos Fathom Press, Quantum Locksmith Saga, Bogman Saga. We've got Dead Sons 11, Locksmith of Quanta, The Killingworth Bogman, Carolina Tobacco Guys. Go check out the bookstore below if you are interested in helping to support the channel. You can also check out our Patreon. I'm going to start posting some of the books in digital format over there on Pontos Fathom Press for members. Also going to have some behind-the-scenes content of getting set up for some of the hobby work and some of the publishing work that we're doing, so go over there to check that out. And as usual, liking and subscribing, ringing the bell to get notified helps us to grow this channel. Thanks a lot and Happy New Year everybody. So let's jump right into it. So TSR minigames, this is from 1982. It's basically a playthrough of the Ragnarok situation, right? The Norse gods were popular with the Scandinavian Vikings and Northern Europeans. They were the heroes of myth that explained natural happenings such as thunder, lightning, winter, rainbow, so on. But what made the Norse gods different was they often behaved like people. What's more, the world themselves, to their credit, they would come a day called Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods. On that day, the god Loki, imprisoned for his evil deeds, would break his chains and lead the enemies of the gods against them. Most of the gods and their enemies would die, and the battle course is thus foretold. Seeing them come across the Rainbow Bridge, the magic bridge between Asgard and Midgard, Earth, the sentinel Heimdall blows his horn to alert the guards. Even though the gods know the battle will end, they fight bravely in the true Viking spirit. Odin falls first, swallowed by the Fenris wolf. Odin's son Vidar avenges him, stepping on its jaw with his mighty iron shoe and tearing the beast apart. Thor fights once more against his longtime enemy, the Midgard serpent. But after killing it, he will drown in the monster's poison. Tyr wants to fight Fenris, who long ago bit off one of his hands, but instead meets the hellhound Garm, and they kill each other. Heimdall fights his own sworn enemy Loki and kills him. Surtur, the fire giant, slays the valiant Frey and sets the entire world on fire. The world is destroyed and everything dies except for the Tree of Life and most peaceful sons of the older gods. These are Odin's sons Vidar and Vali, and Thor's son Magni and Modi. And the god Baldur, whose death was brought about earlier by Loki, rises to join his brother Hodor and the great poet Hoenir. These young gods will remember the mistakes of their fathers and live in peace, and the whole world will be renewed. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, so the way to win is the forces of chaos must destroy Yggdrasil, the Tree of Life, which is here. We've got to destroy that. And then, thus, the gods also win if the forces of chaos are reduced to 4 strength points or less. And those strength points are the small number that is at the top of the page. So the turn basically goes, so you have the very simple tokens. You just have a strength number and a name of the character, but then each character also has, there's a extensive set of information about what special abilities, right? So they have, so for example, we'll go through the special abilities next. Everyone can move, the movement is as such, so it's a hex-based map, as you guys can see. The turn sequence go Chaos player moves, Chaos player attacks, Asgard player moves, Asgard player attacks, and then Hela moves. So Hela is kind of like, she doesn't have a strength point. She is just like wandering death, right? So the idea is, so here's Yggdrasil, Tree of Life stays there. Hela's move, Hela the goddess of death, moves 3 spaces each turn. On the map, each direction is given by a number. So we basically roll a die and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we just randomly generate how she moves. And if she, Hela does not affect Loki or the Tree of Life. Anytime anytime Hela moves near to a piece, it is immediately claimed for the underworld kingdom and removed from play. So the idea is whenever she is next to a piece, she takes that piece. So we got to be careful for her. There's also the Rainbow Bridge. So on the day of Ragnarok, the Rainbow Bridge will be destroyed by the weight of the monsters, it says. So you see all of the forces of chaos are here. Loki, Fenris, Garm, the Midgard Serpent, the Frost Giants, and Surtur. So what happens is at the end of each game round, the Chaos player covers 2 spaces of the bridge with these sort of shattered bridge tokens. You know, like sort of like to match the outer space kind of theme of the back around the board. By the way, I lost the original board here, and I did at one point print it, and I tried to make a hard card of it, but I had it in 2 sections, and I lost this section of the board, so I just had to trace that board before I started today. So we'll get a new one printed at some point, or maybe I'll try to order one up. This is pretty rare from 1982, so let's see if I can get it shipped out here internationally. Okay, in combat. In the Battle of Ragnarok, the gods of Asgard and the force of chaos destroyed each other during each player's attack step. So we use this strength difference chart. To make an attack, add the strength points of the attacking pieces. Subtract the strength points of the defending pieces. The results will be a number from -5 to 5. So we add the strength points of the attacking pieces and subtract the strength points of the defending. And then we roll the die. So this is sort of like you do the strength difference and then you have a different chart. And the effects range from defender defeated, attacker defeated, defender retreats, and attacker retreats. And then there's a sort of a draw. And then finally, for retreat, the winner retreats the enemy piece 1 space. An enemy cannot be retreated next to a friendly piece if another space is open. If there's no space to retreat to, the piece is defeated instead. And then the Tree of Life, finally, it says, if the Tree of Life receives a DD result, the Chaos player wins immediately. And the DR for the Tree of Life is considered as a draw. So there's no retreating for the tree. Yggdrasil never attacks, but defends itself with the strength of 4. Chaos players attacking Yggdrasil that suffer an AD or AR are defeated or retreated as usual. So if you attack the tree, it doesn't have an attack, but your attack kind of, I guess it kind of repels back on you, which is kind of cool. That's pretty cool. Finally, there are terrain rules. The Rainbow Bridge and Hela Start are the same in the basic game. But for the woods, a piece that moves on the woods must stop for the rest of the turn. So once you enter the woods, the hills, or the glacier spaces. So here's woods. I believe this is the hills, these mountain hills, and the glacier spaces. So we have 2 woods areas. We have a mountain range up here and down here. And then we have the glacier space up the top where it says Frost Giants up there. And if you attack across the river, you have -1 to your strength. Okay, and then all the special abilities will go in detail. But as we do the combats, we can go in detail on the forces of Asgard and the forces of Chaos as special abilities. But the cool detail of this is there is a handy guide. So if we kind of just quickly review it here, you see that Odin gives +1 to a friend. Dvalin gives +1 to Surtur. Oh, +1 versus Surtur. So the Dvalin, the elf kind of guy. Dvalin, let me just read about Dvalin while we're here. Dvalin is a dwarven hero. So the dwarven hero and the dwarves are sort of, let's put him up by the dwarves for the setup. So he has his own dwarf troops, sort of like that. Just like the Valkyries have the human troops. Forseti gives -1 to an enemy. The Einherjar, which are like the heroes that have gone to Valhalla, they don't have a special ability. Frek and Greer can teleport. I don't know why I don't see them. Maybe I have to find them. Oh yeah, Freck and Gria right here. Freck and Gria have teleport. Heimdall +1 versus Loki. Frey can stop one enemy. What does that mean? Frey can stop one enemy. Let's just read that. One of the Vanir, the older and more peaceful race of gods, Frey was a god of sunshine and rain. If Frey does not move, he can stop one enemy piece up to 5 spaces away from moving in the next turn. It does not work against Hela or pieces on the Rainbow Bridge. Frey's special day of worship was the winter solstice. And some customs originally honored him, having survived today as the Yule log and the boar's head at Christmas. So we got a little bit of Christmas spirit here in this one. So that's Frey. Stop one enemy. Heimdall +1 versus Loki. Magni -1 to enemies. Modi +1 to friend. So Magni and Modi, Thor's sons, I believe. Sif defends on +3 column or less. So Sif always can defend more powerfully. The beautiful second wife of Thor, Sif was renowned for her golden hair, a gift from the dwarves, and her skill in battle. Because of her great skill, no attack on Sif can ever be better than +3. So she will never have higher than +3 against her. That's kind of cool. Thor gets +1 versus Jormungandr, which is the Midgard serpent. Tyr gets +1 against Garm, the wolf, or the dog. Is he a wolf or a dog? Let's see. Garm. A huge blood-stained hound. He's the bloodhound. And Wolf, Fenris Wolf, is the offspring of Loki. Ullr gets attacked from 2 spaces away. I think he's a bowman. Ullr. Son of Sif and Thor's sept. Ullr was a god of winter and archery. He can attack 2 spaces away. He ignores attacker when attacking 2 spaces away. He ignores attacker retreats or attacker defeated results. Wow, cool. That's pretty powerful. Valkyries, no terrain penalties. Vidar, no woods penalties. Yggdrasil, no move. Defender retreats equals a draw. And then Loki gets +1 versus Heimdall. Fenris gets +1 versus Odin. Fire Giants, no woods penalty. Frost Giants, no glacier or river penalty. Garm gets +1 versus Tyr. Midgard Serpent +1 versus Thor. Surtur +1 versus Frey, no woods penalty. And gives +1 to Fire Giants. I guess he has to be beside them, but let's see. Surtur, the greatest of the Fire Giants, ruled in the fire Muspelheim, a fiery land to the south of Asgard. On the day of Ragnarok, he would lead the Fire Giants into battle with his huge flaming sword, splitting the earth and setting the world on fire. Surtur adds 1 to his strength. When he attacks Frey, he can also add +1 to the strength of any one Fire Giant next to him. He ignores wood penalties like other Fire Giants. He has no defense bonus. And then finally, Thrym. Thrym is +1 versus Odin, no glacier or river penalties to the Frost Giants. And the special piece of chaos is Hela. Hela, Chaos player may change the movement roll by 1 once each turn. Really? Whoa, that's powerful. Let me read about that. How does that work? So Hela, the half-black, half-white goddess, ruled over the dead in her underworld kingdom of Niflheim. In some accounts of Ragnarok, Hela sides with the forces of chaos, so in the advanced game she is partially controlled by the chaos player. Each turn, the chaos player may change one of Hela's 3 movement rolls by 1. So, in other words, if the roll for Hela's movement was in direction 4, so direction 4 would be, say we're going to move Hela like this, the chaos player can make it 3 or 5, right? So they can skew just one of the rolls that she gets. That's pretty powerful. Okay. Looks pretty good. This is the heyday of TSR games. So yeah, we'll get into this. Let me know, guys, in the comments if you've played Viking Gods before. That'd be cool. And I also, like I mentioned before, I got into this game back when I was reading Thor comics way, way, way back in the day. This is back in Marvel Comics. Like I said, I got this game in 1982, so you guys have some idea. But at that time, there was a great Walter Simonson Thor series in which Thor fights Surtur, the fire giant. I think it was like the Beta Ray Bill saga, right? If you guys are familiar with that. So around that time, I had the Celestials also debuted in Thor comics. I kind of believe like the early Journey into Mysteries where Thor would fight the Celestials. So I'll probably do a Celestials combat. Maybe I'll save that for season 2. So let me know, guys, if you're interested in seeing me do a Viking Gods mashup with the Marvel Universe. Okay. So other than that, we're going to jump into round 1. Thanks for going through the rules with me, and see you in round 1. Bye-bye.